Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine New York City, not the city of glass towers and glowing screens, not the city of rideshare apps and subway maps, but a city lit by gas lamps. A city where horse hooves strike stone, where streets are narrow, crowded, loud, with voices, carts, and the constant urgency of survival. Now imagine being a young woman here in 1882. No minimum wage, no labor protections, no guarantee that honest work would ever be enough. Only choices, and many of them unfair. This is the story newspapers told about a woman named Jennie Westbrook. Step back with me. Back to a time when what you wore could decide how much your labor was worth. When a skirt could cut your wages in half. When survival sometimes meant becoming invisible, or becoming someone else entirely. In 1882, newspapers across the country began reporting on a quiet but unsettling arrest in New York City. Not for theft, not for violence, not for fraud, but for clothing. The paper reported Jennie Westbrook, a young woman recently arrested in New York City for masquerading in male habiliments, has been sent to Ward's Island. Ward's Island. In 1880s, Ward's Island in New York City served as a major site for municipal institutions, including an immigrant refuge, a lunatic asylum, and a hospital rather than a residential area. It was a place reserved for the poor, the sick, the unwanted, a place you were sent when society no longer knew what to do with you. But the article did not end there. It lingered. It slowed down. And then it said something unusual, something revealing. Her case, however, has awakened deep interest, since it only seems to be due to an effort to escape from that bondage which social laws have subjected the sex. Pause on that. This was not a protest pamphlet, not a reform speech, not a modern editorial. This was a newspaper, calm, measured, factual, suggesting that a woman had been driven not by deception but by restriction, by bondage. Jennie Westbrook did not offer a dramatic defense. She did not plead for sympathy. She explained herself with numbers. Her excuse was that she could make $20 a week in her disguise, while as a sales lady in a fashionable store the pay would be only 1/3 of that amount. $20 a week as a man, less than 7 as a woman, same city, same effort, same hours, different clothes, different value. As the case moved through the system, another report described the courtroom itself, crowded, attentive, curious. The paper introduced her this way. Jennie Westbrook, or Nace Denise, as she called herself when occasion required. She had learned to shift identities when necessary. She wore, the paper noted, trousers, a man's coat, and a waistcoat. Nothing extravagant, nothing theatrical, just enough to pass. And for that, she had already been punished. She was committed to the penitentiary for 6 months for appearing on the street in a man's attire. 6 months. Not for stealing wages, but for earning them. And yet, even in 1882, the system seemed unsure of itself. The newspaper admitted, in most cases, the wearing of men's apparel by women is only a freak and is not usually punished severely. So why Jennie? Why her? The answer followed quietly. There is not much sympathy expressed by the police in the case of Jennie Westbrook. Public interest, judicial hesitation, police indifference, 3 forces pulling in different directions. Eventually, Jennie Westbrook was discharged by the court, but freedom in this story was fragile. The record does not give us a triumphant ending, it gives us removal. Ward's Island, silence, no follow-up, no reunion, no redemption arc, just a name printed in ink and a question left behind. Now open your eyes. Because this isn't only a story about the past, it's about what happens when survival costs identity, when fairness requires disguise, when dignity depends on pretending to be someone else. Jennie Westbrook didn't ask for permission, she asked for wages, and for that, history does not remember her as a criminal. It remembers her as a problem the system couldn't solve. If this story made you pause, if it made you imagine walking those streets, wearing those clothes, making that choice, stay here, because history isn't just what happened, it's what was allowed to happen. And sometimes the loudest truths were printed quietly, in yesterday's newspapers. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy stories like this, please consider subscribing to this channel.